some people flipped through the exam booklets and decided that they were done. And so they're walking out right at the beginning, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into?
When you just started your college, why did you choose accounting at that time?
That's a great question. I grew up in the Midwest, and when I was in high school, I was good in mathematics. I just got it. And my father's a chemical engineer. And so I remember having a conversation with my father when I was a senior in high school, and he said, Steve, I really don't care where you go to college, but I'd prefer that you don't go to the community college right down the street and that you go away to college. And he encouraged me at the time to go into business because he was in a corporation at that point in time and felt that the leaders of the corporation had business experience, and that's where they had gotten their degrees. So although he was quite good in mathematics as well as being a chemical engineer, he had suggested that I go into business. So he had no idea that I was going to go halfway across the United States and go to college here in California, but I did. I graduated high school in Kansas City and went out to California to go to college at Long Beach State University. And I tell people that it was basically a one-way ticket for me. I've lived out here ever since.
So after you graduate, did you know at that time that you wanted to be a CPA?
No. So while I was working at Disneyland then, they had promoted me to become a supervisor in that department. And so that gave me the opportunity to work more days, and then I took a number of night school classes. And then after I graduated with a degree in accounting, then I moved into a cost accounting department over there at Disneyland. And that was about the time that the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was being constructed, and so that was one of the projects that we had worked on. So I'd moved to their accounting department at that point in time, but it was, for me, it wasn't the right fit long term, because I could tell that it was kind of the same routine from month to month, and I could tell where people were in their careers that were ahead of me, and it was just something that I thought, I don't know if this is right for me. So at the time, there was another co-worker there that had decided that he was going to take the review course for the CPA exam and take the CPA exam and talked me into it. And I said, sure. And so, there's another big time commitment there. It was that was at a time when the exam was offered twice a year, once in November and once in May. And so I took a November exam, which means that you're in school. And this was at a time when everything was paper, and at a time when everything was in person. And so, every night after I'd get home from work, then you go to, not every night, I guess Friday nights we didn't go, but most nights of the week, you would go off and for 3 hours sit in a classroom setting and learn. I took the Becker review course, so it was, they're teaching all the stuff on how to take the exam and pass the exam. And then on the weekends, you're doing the homework, because the deal was with Becker at the time that if you could show that you did the homework and you didn't pass the exam, then you got to take the class over again for free. So you wanted to make sure you did the homework, because the classes are pretty pricey. At least for me at that time, it was expensive. Fortunately for me, I passed the exam on the first sitting, although I will say that it was somewhat intimidating, because I remember walking into the, I took it down in San Diego, and it was in like a gymnasium, and they have rows of tables and chairs set up, and again, it was a time before computers, and you were not allowed to bring a calculator in, so everything was just by hand. And I can remember being in the room, and it's quiet, and they pass out the exam booklets, and some people flipped through the exam booklets and decided that they were done. And so they're walking out right at the beginning, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? But It was 2.5 days of exams, and then you had to wait a couple of months to get your results back. So, but fortunately for me, it worked out fine, and I was able to pass all 4 parts on the first sitting and didn't have to go back and take it again.